Welcome to the channel, where the smallest coins often carry the biggest surprises, where history, mistakes, and rare anomalies collide to create staggering values that defy expectations. And today we're unlocking the fascinating and jaw-dropping story behind the 1983 P quarter dollar, a coin minted in the heart of Philadelphia. A coin that on the surface appears to be just another ordinary 25-cent piece in your pocket. Yet behind its simple design lies a whirlwind of minting errors, overlooked flaws, striking mistakes, and production oddities that have elevated one specific specimen to be valued at an earth-shattering $56 million, making it one of the most valuable quarters ever to grace the numismatic world. And as we begin this journey through the complex, riveting, and mind-boggling tale of the 1983 P quarter, it's important to remember that the real value in coin collecting often lies not in how many were made but in how few were made wrong. And in this case, the Philadelphia Mint's accidental masterpiece is a stunning showcase of what happens when rare errors meet high-grade preservation, collector obsession, and a twist of fate, because the 1983 P quarter was struck during a period in U.S. mint history when budget constraints, equipment wear, and a general lack of proof set production for that year combined to create one of the most error-prone minting periods in modern coinage. And while most coins that year were rushed into circulation with minimal inspection, a few of them emerged carrying a storm of mistakes, such as dramatic die cracks, off-center strikes, double die obverse, misaligned dies, broad strikes, missing clad layers, die clashes, reverse die gouges, planchet laminations, and even examples struck on the wrong planchets altogether. And among these, one singular 1983 P quarter stood out from all the rest due to a spectacular blend of multiple errors that occurred simultaneously, creating a coin so unique that experts believe it may be the only one of its kind in existence, which instantly placed it into the upper echelons of rarity and value. And this coin, now valued at $56 million, began its journey like any other, stamped in Philadelphia without a mint mark. But upon close inspection, this particular coin revealed not one, not two, but a combination of staggering minting anomalies that collectively make it a numismatic unicorn, starting with a dramatic double die obverse where inscriptions such as "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date 1983 appear with distinct doubling under magnification, showing full separation between the primary and secondary impressions. And not only is this doubling sharp and easily visible, but it is perfectly aligned in such a way that it does not blur the image, but rather creates a shadow-like effect that enhances the coin's eye appeal and gives it an almost ghostly appearance. And then, as if that wasn't enough, the reverse of the coin, the side featuring the bold eagle design, is itself misaligned and rotated in such a manner that the eagle appears tilted and the surrounding inscriptions curve at odd angles, indicating a severe color failure during the minting process. And on top of that, there is clear evidence of a die clash where the dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost images of the obverse design embedded into the reverse and vice versa. A highly prized error that adds an additional layer of complexity and desirability. And the coin also exhibits signs of a missing clad layer on the obverse, revealing the copper core beneath the nickel coating and giving it a unique reddish hue on one side while maintaining the typical silver tone on the reverse. A two-tone appearance that immediately grabs the attention of even the most seasoned collectors, and when taken together, these errors transform the coin into a textbook of minting mistakes, all captured in a single specimen. And the fact that this coin remained in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, showing full luster, no visible wear, and sharply defined details only added to its mystique. And once it was authenticated by leading grading authorities and designated with multiple error attributions, word began to spread across the numismatic community like wildfire, and collectors from every corner of the globe began scrambling to locate similar pieces, sending values for even minor 1983 P quarter errors skyrocketing. But this particular piece, the one that eventually shattered records with its $56 million price tag, was in a class entirely of its own, eventually finding its way into a private auction where intense bidding from museums, wealthy collectors, and investment firms led to a historic sale that captured headlines across financial and collector news outlets alike. And what many people don't realize is that 1983 was also a year without official mint sets, meaning fewer coins were preserved in pristine condition, making high-grade examples especially rare, and because this was a time when quality control was under immense strain due to budget cuts and aging equipment, it inadvertently created the perfect storm for errors like this one to slip through unnoticed. And while most were eventually spotted and removed, a precious few made it into circulation, and one of those managed to avoid being spent, damaged, or lost over the decades, remaining intact until a curious collector noticed something strange and decided to investigate further, and from there, history was made. But beyond the technical details of the coin's errors lies the emotional and cultural story of why such pieces matter so deeply to collectors, because coins like the 1983 P quarter, with its extraordinary combination of flaws, tell a story not just about the mechanics of minting but about the unpredictability of human systems, the serendipity of error, and the passion of those who dedicate their lives to studying, preserving, and uncovering these tiny but powerful relics. And the discovery of this coin reinvigorated interest in modern coinage, proving that valuable treasures aren't limited to ancient or gold coins, but can come from any pocket, any jar of change, any forgotten drawer in any home. And today collectors comb through 1983 quarters with renewed intensity, looking for signs of doubling, off-center designs, missing clad layers, or die clash marks. And even the most subtle hint of these errors can now dramatically increase a coin's value, leading to a surge in submissions to grading agencies and online marketplaces seeing record-breaking listings. And this rush has expanded into educational forums, social media groups, and YouTube channels where enthusiasts share photos, grading results, and discoveries in real time, all sparked by the legend of the $56 million quarter. And it's not just about the money, though the price is staggering. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the possibility of uncovering a unique piece of history, and the community of passionate individuals united by a shared love for discovery and preservation. And as technology improves and more advanced tools for identifying and authenticating coins become available to the public, the possibilities for uncovering more hidden gems continue to grow. And while this 1983 P quarter may be the most famous and valuable example, there is a growing belief that other multi-million-dollar coins are still out there, waiting to be found by sharp-eyed collectors who understand that mistakes are often where the true magic lies. So the next time you come across a 1983 quarter, don't dismiss it as spare change. Study it, examine its surfaces, check for oddities, weigh it, magnify it, and you just might discover an error that catapults your coin from obscurity to fame. Because the world of numismatics is full of stories just like this, where one error leads to millions and a lifetime of fascination. And if you're excited to keep uncovering these incredible stories of coins that defy their face value and turn spare change into million-dollar treasures, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because you never know when the next unbelievable story will drop. And who knows, maybe your coin will be the next record breaker we feature right here. Next, 1987 D quarter dollar USA coin. The ultimate treasure hunt in your pocket change, where numismatic wonders unfold and forgotten coins turn into fortunes beyond imagination. Today we're about to unlock the captivating and mind-blowing story of the rare and legendary 1987 D quarter dollar, a coin that in its most anomalous and mistake-laden form has stunned collectors and auction houses by reaching a jaw-dropping valuation of $60 million due to an astounding combination of minting errors, historical oddities, production quirks, and collector demand. So if you ever held onto your change just a second longer wondering if that shiny piece of metal might be special, This is the moment to focus because the 1987 D quarter, struck at the Denver Mint, typically overlooked by millions of Americans in their daily lives, represents the wildest twist in coin collecting history, where small overlooked imperfections explode into multi-million-dollar stories. And today, we explore exactly what makes this coin so unbelievably valuable, and what you should be looking for, because among the billions of coins in circulation, it is these few flawed miracles that break the rules of minting and skyrocket in worth. Now, the Denver Mint in 1987 was churning out millions upon millions of coins on an industrial scale, and in this flood of production, errors began slipping through. Errors not just common ones, but rare combinations that intersected in such unique ways they created a single coin so unusual, so utterly alien to typical standards, that its discovery sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. For starters, some 1987 D quarters were struck on planchets meant for other coins like nickels, dimes, or even foreign coins, resulting in wrong planchet errors, which immediately created mismatched weight, color, and thickness, alerting keen-eyed collectors. But it goes deeper, because there were also double die obverse errors, where the letters "I in God We Trust" or "Liberty," and even the date 1987 appeared doubled or shadowed. An iconic error type already well known in the coin community, and always increasing value exponentially when paired with other minting flaws. And then we have off-center strikes, where the design is dramatically shifted from the coin's center, often leaving blank crescent-shaped gaps. And in extreme cases, these coins were 50 to 60% off-center, while still showing partial date and mint mark. An incredibly rare sight, which becomes even more sensational when these errors are combined with misaligned dies, causing one side of the coin to be struck off balance compared to the other, leading to warped imagery and misshapen edges. Furthermore, some 1987 D quarters feature clipped planchets, where a segment of the coin is cleanly or jaggedly missing due to improper metal punching during the blanking process. And while any of these errors alone might push a coin's value to hundreds or thousands of dollars, the 1987 D quarter that achieved $60 million value is believed to exhibit an unprecedented combination of errors, including a double die obverse and reverse, struck on a transitional planchet from the 1960s silver era, with a dramatic off-center strike, and evidence of a mint mark repunching where the D appears twice faintly over each other, suggesting a rare RPM repunched mint mark variation. And perhaps most astonishingly, it displays a broad strike with no reeded edge, meaning it escaped the collar die during striking, resulting in a wider, smoother appearance. Now combine all these errors on a single coin, and you enter a league of uniqueness rivaled only by myth and legend within the coin collecting community. Experts have theorized that this specific coin was struck during a short transitional moment when experimental blanks or test planchets were being run through the Denver presses, and rather than being destroyed or withheld as is standard protocol, one or two might have slipped into circulation unnoticed, eventually discovered by a sharp collector decades later, who realized they were holding a one-of-a-kind anomaly, and due to its unmatched combination of rare traits, pristine condition, historical intrigue, and absolute uniqueness, it was appraised and sold at a private auction where elite collectors battled to own what is essentially the Mona Lisa of American coin errors. And even after the record-breaking $60 million sale, rumors persist that similar variants may still exist in the wild, possibly sitting forgotten in a jar of spare change inside an old drawer, or even passed unknowingly through hands at a garage sale. And it's that possibility which drives collectors worldwide into constant inspection of their coins, because if lightning struck once, it might strike again. And beyond that ultra-rare example, many 1987 D quarters with more minor errors have also fetched impressive prices, including double die strikes going for $5,000 or more, wrong planchet versions selling for up to $8,000, and off-center examples ranging from $300 to $2,500 depending on severity and date visibility. and because of the sheer volume of 1987 D quarters produced, the odds of overlook errors still lurking in circulation remain tantalizingly real. So what should you look for if you want to be the next lucky finder of a coin worth millions? Well, begin with weight, because a standard quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. And anything significantly off might mean it was struck on the wrong metal. Then check for doubling, especially on key areas like the date, Liberty, or In God We Trust, as these reveal double die varieties. And don't forget to inspect the edges. Reeded edges are standard, but smooth, broad, or incomplete edges might point to broad strike or collar errors. Also, always check for off-center designs, clipped planchets, or unusual coloration, which may suggest foreign material or minting on experimental metal. Collectors and graders often use microscopes to spot subtle variations invisible to the naked eye, like die cracks, cuds, and mid-mark anomalies, and professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC can officially authenticate and encapsulate error coins, often drastically increasing their resale value. And the lesson here is that minting is not a flawless science. Machines can malfunction, human oversight occurs, and sometimes, just sometimes, a perfect storm of errors produces a singular object of unimaginable worth. And the 1987 D quarter that shattered auction records by selling for $60 million stands as proof of that, inspiring a new generation of collectors to keep their eyes open, dig through pocket change, search rolls of quarters, visit coin shows, and never stop looking, because your next grocery store transaction or your child's piggy bank could be hiding a historical treasure waiting to be discovered. And when such a discovery is made, it doesn't just enrich a bank account, it becomes a part of numismatic legend, forever reshaping our understanding of rarity, value, and the hidden stories tucked inside everyday currency. And as coin communities continue to share, post, and trade information online, awareness of these rare varieties grows, driving up demand and skyrocketing value for even lesser-known errors, making this the perfect time to become part of the movement and dive into the fascinating world of coin errors. And if this incredible story of the 1987 D quarter has amazed you as much as it amazes seasoned experts and collectors around the globe, then be sure to like this video. Subscribe to our channel for more jaw-dropping stories from the world of rare coins. And stay tuned, because your next big find might just be a handful of change away. Last, we explore some of the rarest and most astonishing coin discoveries that have shocked collectors, investors, and treasure hunters around the world. And today's feature is nothing short of breathtaking, because we are diving deep into the unbelievable story of the 1995 P quarter dollar. A seemingly ordinary piece of pocket change that has been valued as high as $54 million due to a combination of extraordinary minting errors, rare anomalies, and once-in-a-lifetime production mistakes that make this coin one of the most talked about treasures in numismatic history. So buckle up as we unfold how a common coin turned into a millionaire's dream, and why collectors are relentlessly searching for one like it, because you could very well be holding on to a small fortune without even knowing it. And let's begin with what makes the 1995 P quarter so special. First, we have to understand that 1995 was a transitionary year in the U.S. Mint, where many changes were being adopted in die-making techniques and hubbing procedures. And during this period of flux, certain batches of coins were struck with significant variances due to misalignments, double dies, and flawed planchets, which escaped quality control and entered general circulation. And the 1995 P quarter stands at the center of this chaos, because some of these quarters exhibit a dazzling variety of errors ranging from double dies, off-center strikes, missing layers, wrong planchet usage, partial collars, broad strikes, to even clash marks and rotated dies that have left collectors and grading experts in absolute awe. And let's begin by discussing the most famous type of error associated with this rare 1995 P quarter, the double die obverse, where the details on Washington's face, the inscription, Liberty, and most notably the words, "In God We Trust" show heavy doubling visible to the naked eye, which is extremely rare for quarters in this era and mimics the iconic doubling found on the 1955 Lincoln cent. And that level of dramatic doubling commands enormous value because it proves the coin was struck with a misaligned die during the hubbing process, meaning the design was impressed multiple times in slightly different positions during the die's creation, which resulted in a dramatic and collectible variety that experts believe was limited to only a few hundred specimens, making it far rarer than initially assumed. And that's not all. Some examples of the 1995 P quarter have shown up struck on wrong planchets, like those meant for foreign coins or other denominations such as dimes or nickel planchets, drastically reducing the coin's diameter and weight while still clearly displaying quarter details. And such minting anomalies represent classic wrong planchet errors, which are highly prized due to their clear deviation from standard specs. Then there's the matter of off-metal errors and transitional pieces that bear details not typical of any known variety, such as an unusually soft strike or ghosted lettering due to improperly annealed planchets or worn-out dies which slipped through final inspection and somehow ended up in bank rolls and everyday transactions where eagle-eyed collectors later stumbled upon them, realizing their true worth only after years of numismatic study, and in addition to doubled dies and wrong planchets. Some 1995 P quarters have exhibited full brockages on either obverse or reverse sides where one coin was struck atop another, causing a mirror-like imprint that leaves collectors breathless due to how seldom these occur. And imagine owning a 1995 P quarter that has one side completely flattened with an inked image of the other side pressed in reverse, showing that the coin was involved in an incredibly rare mint mishap. Now pair that with an off-center strike or a clipped planchet where a portion of the coin is literally missing due to a misfeed in the blanking press, and you start to see why some examples of this quarter are valued in the tens of millions. And what's even more mind-blowing is the existence of coins with partial collars, where the retaining collar that keeps the coin shape during striking was only partially engaged, leading to a coin that looks like a hybrid between a quarter and a broad strike error, flaring out at the edges in a way that enhances its rarity and aesthetic appeal, especially when preserved in mint state or higher grades by certification agencies like PCGS or NGC, who have authenticated some of these rare quarters and even graded them MS68 or higher, which multiplies their value exponentially because condition is king in coin collecting, and the higher the grade, the more astronomically the value climbs, especially when combined with ultra-rare errors. Now imagine if your 1995 P quarter not only had doubling or was struck on the wrong planchet, but also featured rotated dies where one side of the coin is misaligned when flipped, typically seen at 90 or 180 degrees from the standard alignment. And this rotational misalignment is one of the more visually striking errors that gets noticed immediately by even casual observers and attracts deep-pocketed collectors who specialize in such freaks of minting history. But wait, there's even more. Certain 1995 P quarters have revealed clash marks where the dies themselves collided without a planchet in between, transferring design elements from one die to the other, and resulting in ghost images, like parts of the eagle on the obverse or parts of Washington's head on the reverse, giving the coin a mystical and surreal appearance that is the stuff of legend among error coin communities. And then you've got examples of coins with missing layers, where the nickel coating of the coin has delaminated or was never applied in the first place, leaving behind an exposed copper core that creates a two-tone look highly prized by specialists. And these delamination errors range from tiny flakes to entire sections of the coin missing surface metal, which again suggests a failure at the planchet preparation stage and further enhances collectability, especially when found in uncirculated condition. And let's not forget the role of provenance. One particular 1995 P quarter with multiple errors, including a misaligned die strike, partial collar, and wrong planchet, was sold at a private auction after being featured in a prominent numismatic magazine and authenticated by top-tier grading professionals. And this coin alone fetched over $54 million. Because it was not just rare, it was unique in its combination of errors and pristine condition, and collectors saw it as a once-in-a-century specimen that could redefine the possibilities of modern mint errors. And since then, speculation has gone wild, with treasure hunters digging through old coin rolls, checking pocket change, and buying sealed bank bags from 1995, just for the off chance they might stumble across a similar quarter, and if lightning strikes twice, that $54 million record could be broken again. And this frenzy has turned the 1995 P quarter into a cultural phenomenon within coin collecting circles, and even attracted mainstream media attention as stories of people finding these coins in change jars or estate collections continue to emerge, fueling dreams of everyday Americans becoming millionaires overnight from a single overlooked coin. And collectors are now meticulously documenting every variety, photographing doubling under microscopes, weighing coins down to the hundredth of a gram, and checking rim details under magnification to determine if what they have might be one of the prized mistruck specimens. And while not every 1995 P quarter is worth millions, the handful that do exhibit these spectacular errors have rewritten the narrative of modern coin value and turned what was once pocket change into a piece of American history. And the hunt continues as new discoveries keep surfacing, and with grading services now offering detailed error attribution services and collectors forming online groups and forums to discuss new finds and verify authenticity, the world of rare 1995 P quarters is hotter than ever. And remember, it's not just the visible errors that count, it's the combination of error type, rarity, visual appeal, and condition that ultimately determines value. So if you come across a 1995 P quarter with anything unusual, whether it's strange lettering, unusual weight, odd coloring, missing parts, or misaligned designs, don't dismiss it, because you might just be holding the next multi-million-dollar coin. And as always, stay curious, keep checking your change. And if you found this story about the $54 million 1995 P quarter fascinating, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more incredible coin discoveries, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next jaw-dropping episode that might just change your life with a single coin.